Hello, and welcome back to Embrace Education, the podcast where we explore how to lead with care, inspiration, and the curiosity that is necessary in today's schools. In this episode, we're turning our focus inward to the people at the heart of education, the teachers. We know that when teachers thrive, students do too. But how do we create the conditions for teacher well-being to flourish? We're honored to be joined today by Dimitris Primalis, head of foreign language department at what's your school, Dimitris?
It's called Evropaiko Protopo,
Beautiful.
and it's located in Athens.
And we're going to discuss what it really means to lead with care, because Dimitris is really one of the most supportive heads I have ever met. From supporting mental health to burnout, to dealing with burnout, to modeling balance and setting a culture of trust. This conversation is about the strategies and mindsets that put people first, like Dimitris does always. So let's dive in. First of all, let me say that as this is one of our first podcasts, I have relatively stressed state, which is going to get better as it goes on. So, Dimitris, thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation, and I'm really glad that we can have a friendly chat on an issue that's very hot. Lots of people feel that well-being is not there, but they don't talk about it. Sometimes it's a taboo issue, or some people feel it's an unnecessary luxury.
Truth be told, this is something that I really wanted to talk about. But before we do anything else, let me present Dimitris. Let me say a few of the things that I would like to say. So Dimitris has been teaching English as a foreign language for over 30 years. He definitely doesn't look it. I don't know, did you start teaching at 15 or something? Dimitris' experience covers a wide range of groups, including young learners, teenagers, adults, exam prep classes, and business English. And he is a freelance material designer. I doubt there is any ELT teacher in Greece who has not attended one of his gripping and really highly informative workshops on subjects close to his heart, like introducing and integrating learning technology, 21st century skills, innovation in the syllabus and daily teaching practice, and lately, AI. These interests are reflected in the presentations he has given in multiple international conferences like in EATEFL, TESOL France, EATEFL Hungary, TESOL Macedonia Thrace, and so on and so forth. And his published work includes textbooks for well-known publishers, but also articles for highly respected publications of the field, such as EATEFL Voices, Pilgrim's Humanizing Language Teaching, and our very own TESOL Greece newsletter, to name but a few. Dimitris has also been chair of the TESOL Greece Association for 2 years, wasn't it, Dimitris?
Well, it was about a year, but I served twice in various positions as an ITEFL newsletter editor, as a vice president, vice chair, and chair.
That's right.
And as a simple volunteer.
As we all are. And this is where we got to meet each other. And what we don't know, what many people don't know, and I didn't used to know, was that he is also, he holds a master's degree in education leadership from what university, Dimitris?
The University of Derby.
Derby, right. I love to hear the accent. And this has added to his natural leadership flair, making him a very successful head of foreign language departments at Ευρωπαϊκό Πρότυπο. And this is a K-12 school with multiple campuses, I think, around Athens in Greece.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind words.
The truth. And add all this, all the previous, to the many, many, many brainstorming sessions, discussions we've had over coffee, and that was on all things education. And it makes sense that Dimitris was one of the first people who came to mind when I made this little list of invitees for this podcast. So it's really a pleasure to be here with you today, Dimitris. And as you said, we're all looking to go deeper into this issue of teacher well-being. So I would like to ask you, as a head of personal languages, foreign languages department in a large school and an educator, how do you perceive teacher well-being?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is happy teachers. Teachers who feel creative, they feel they're respected, they earn a decent salary, they lead a normal life, and above all, they get a good night's sleep. Educators are happy with very simple things. No Ferraris. They wouldn't mind having one, of course, but they're happy with simpler things, like earning the respect of their colleagues, teaching well, supporting their students. I think this is the main incentive. And I've seen many happy teachers who seemed basically to be enjoying teaching.
Yeah. It's crucial that you say that, because research shows that one of the issues that teachers face, especially language teachers, is they do not feel respected in what they do at school and from the overall community. So this is so important that you're mentioning it, and you're mentioning it right from the start of this conversation. So okay, so we talk about and so eloquently you describe teacher well-being. Why is it important? You know, Dimitri, it's very usual that I talk with, because during training or visits at schools, it's very usual that I talk with teachers, and not even they think that it's so important. It's even necessary to look into their own well-being. So why do you think it's important to focus on teachers first, on teachers' well-being?
Well, first of all, teachers are the power that actually make education possible. Most of you know very well that I love technology, but technology cannot replace humans. And because things have changed dramatically since 1992, that's when I started teaching. That was practically last millennium. Very often, we've got parents who are overworked. Usually there is the line is very thin, and sometimes it doesn't even exist between work and private life. They have to answer emails even late at night. They have to answer phone calls. They have to work overnight, and usually it's educators who play partly the role of a parent. And I'm not saying that this is a role that we should all pursue, but de facto, we've been assigned this role. I've seen very often kids calling the teacher mom or dad, because in reality, a teacher might be spending more time with them, more quality time with them, or sometimes literally more time, with them than their mom or dad. And I'm not saying that they're doing that on purpose. Life has changed dramatically. People are far too busy. So obviously the educator, the teacher is there, and it doesn't really matter if it's an English language teacher or a French teacher or a maths teacher. They're there to support the students. And obviously, if you want to support others, you've got to be well. You've got to feel well. You've got to be full of energy, ready to share. Be patient enough to listen. Be a good listener. Come up with ideas. Come up with solutions. Be communicative. And you can't do all these things if you are on the verge of a burnout.
Yeah, right.
Or being overworked. And at the same time, you need to have a balanced life, which is, well, obviously a dream for most people because they work really long hours. But obviously, the job of an educator is completely different compared to other jobs.
Oh, yeah. And you talk about how being well affects teachers emotionally, right? And what you say also reverberates with research saying, talking about emotional contagion, which is we whether we want it or not, our emotions are perceived and incorporated into the system of our students, and the people who are important to us and we are important to them have a good relationship. So what you're saying is exactly what research shows. What I also would like to ask you, and maybe you might want to share any personal stories from the field. Do you see, apart from the emotional part, do you see well-being or burnout affecting the teacher efficacy as well?
Absolutely. Before I answer that, let me say that our students seem to be equipped by nature. They've got those detectors. They can easily detect exactly. And that's a really nice thing about being an educator. You go into a classroom and they go, "Are you okay, sir? Well, you seem to be a bit tired, miss." Which actually means that's whatever mood we have, it is highly likely to affect our students. There's an incident a long time ago. I was going through a very difficult phase in my life. And I remember that I had primary school pupils. And they were very sweet kids. And I remember that I got into the classroom and then I said, "Give me a smile." They smiled. And then, of course, when somebody smiles, you always respond with a smile. And that's how we started the day. Not because they needed that, but because I needed that. Because they could read that something was wrong in my life. I couldn't hide from them. No matter how hard I tried, it wasn't easy. So the minute I stepped into the classroom, I said, "All right, good morning, everybody. Can you give me a smile?" And then it just reflected on me, and it was a good day. Yeah, all right. I mean, there were 1,000 problems behind me, but that was it.
That was amazing. What an amazing example of how we reciprocate. You see, we're connected, and this makes a huge difference in their life, in our students' life, but also on our own lives.
And it's this feeling of duty that's we need to support our students that keeps us going.
Yeah.
Because the job of an educator is extremely demanding.
True.
And as you mentioned, there are many factors which might lead teachers to burnout.
That's what I wanted to ask you. You mentioned personal factors, but also and Sarah Mercer in a discussion we had talked about personal expectations as an aggravating factor that might lead to burnout for teachers. So as an educator yourself, and also in charge of several teachers in your current position, have you ever noticed any such factors yourself, maybe expectations or in general, something that can be an aggravating factor? What do you think?
I don't know what research says, but from my experience, the ones who are most likely to suffer from burnout are the ones who are the most committed ones, the ones who have very high expectations from themselves. And they care about their students. They need to they need to make sure that everything runs smoothly. They feel they're accountable to the students and the parents, and of course the school, and they're trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly. But all educators know that there's hardly such a thing. I mean, once you enter a classroom, it's like well, traveling in uncharted waters. No matter what you have, how much you have anticipated, there are always issues that arise, and very, very often nothing goes as planned. So people who are very conscientious and they want to make sure that everything goes according to schedule. Yes, from my experience, they're highly likely to suffer that. Now, another factor, which is not the personal one, often has to do with the expectations set by the school. The educational organization, could be a school, could be a foreign language school, anything. We tend, and I can understand that, we tend to burden educators with lots of tedious tasks, which take precious time. I've seen teachers who were so exhausted because they'd spent a sleepless night trying to complete endless, long lesson plans, detailed lesson plans. And when the time came to deliver in class, they didn't have the energy to do that. I've seen educators who were on the verge of breaking down, teachers who burst into tears as soon as they come out of the classroom. Sometimes they do it in the classroom, simply because expectations are far too high. Deadlines are tight, and sometimes we seem to have to be overambitious. And we're trying to please everybody. We're trying to please the students, who very often don't feel like, following the curriculum, the syllabus. We seem to want to please the parents. There were times in my life when I spent more time with parents, talking with them and trying to reassure them, rather than spending time with their children. I mean, things were okay with their children, but parents were extremely stressed, and then they felt insecure. So basically, you had to support the parents as well. Sometimes they might be aggressive, and they might be aggressive for the wrong reason. There might be something else in their life, and they feel that it's the teacher that they can actually have a very negative conversation with, because they can't have it with their boss, they can't have it with somebody in the family.
The teacher is there to listen. Yeah.
And that's where administration needs to draw a line. But basically, since people know me because I love technology. I love technology simply because technology can actually relieve teachers from the heavy workload. Particularly artificial intelligence can be used as a personal assistant. It can help you plan lessons. It can help you assess students. I'm not saying that you should rely entirely on artificial intelligence, but actually it's the second pair of eyes that you have. It can give you very easily statistics.
Right.
It can actually highlight areas that otherwise you wouldn't pick. The potential of technology is endless, depending on how we use it. If we use it to put an extra burden on educators, it won't work. But if we perceive it as a way to relieve educators and let them be creative in class, let them be facilitators, allow them to spend more time with students, build bonds with them, then obviously there's room for technology, and it should be there. So that's,
sorry, go.
And that's one of the things we can do. We're going to talk about, obviously, there are many more things that we can do to relieve educators. But obviously, that's one thing. Educators are usually overworked.
Right.
And very often they feel exposed. They feel exposed to students. They feel exposed to irrational expectations or demands by parents. And sometimes even by the school administration.
Right.
Usually,
I'm going to, because time is almost there for us to finish. I'm going to invite you for a second discussion where we discuss the systemic approach to teacher well-being. You being in the role of head of foreign languages. So let's keep this for next time. But in the until for the closure, I'd like to ask you, since you mentioned technology and the use, how we use it in the classroom, and we do know that AI has affected us and our lives as teachers a lot. So what is your advice to teachers regarding all this flood of new tech inundating their lives? How much technology? How many new tools?
all right. Well, I'd say from my experience, I've been using technology actively since 2008, 2009 in my lessons. And I'd say I would not recommend more than 2, max 3 different tools.
Wow. Just 3?
Just 3. I'd say 3 maximum. Simply because we need time to be acquainted with them. If you use more than that, you just spend more time trying to find out what the potential of the tools is. And the tool is there just to supplement the lesson, make sure that it motivates learners. Nobody expects you to be a tech expert, and you shouldn't be. It's just another tool. You can use your body, your language, you can use textbooks, you can use handouts, you can use one of those fancy AI tools. All these are there to serve the learning goals that you've set for your learners. And then there's another danger. This is B. Students might be involved because they're motivated, because they feel creative by using AI, and they might spend most of the time at home trying to figure out what its tool can do for them. So the more tools you give them, the more likely they are to spend time on them. And yes, well, let's not forget that apart from an educator, you basically are a foreign language teacher, and you want them to work on certain areas. So I'd say 2, a maximum of 3. I think that's enough.
Amazing. Oh, that was really good advice, because it's very easy to get, lost. What I say to my teachers is, look, you have a tool doing a specific task, keep the tool. And until there is something new coming on that specific area, stop looking for others and other tools.
Exactly.
Because it can get out of control. And now the $1 million question: is AI going to replace teachers?
No, not in the foreseeable future. In my opinion, no, because we are the role model. That doesn't mean that we always live up to the students' expectations, but very often motivation comes from the fact that the teacher spends time with quality time with the students. The teacher cares, shows personal interest, And this is probably another thing when we talk about artificial intelligence is we need to stress the fact that we're interested in the students' creative and critical thinking skills. In other words, we need to tell our students that we don't really care what ChatGPT has regurgitated because AI uses data from all over the world. We don't care what others said. Yes, you can use that if you do research, but I'm interested in your ideas. I'm interested in your output. And it's this personal interest. Yes, of course, there are bots that can actually assist learners, and they can provide real-time feedback. They can be really, really nice, which is a lesson for us as well. You know, we need to be polite. I remember a couple of years ago, a company advertised a tool that it's polite, one of these AI tools, a personal assistant.
They
Exactly.
sound empathetic. It's amazing when all those models, when they reply to you, they sound so empathetic. And sometimes we as human beings forget to do this. And it's, as you
Exactly.
said, it's a lesson.
And that's where well-being comes in. If you feel well, if you're balanced, if you've got a good night's sleep, you're not worn out, then obviously you can give them a witty answer. You can actually reply to their concerns in a satisfactory way. You can reassure them. You can encourage them. You can feel the vibe. AI, for the time being, cannot do it. But in any case, I know that students long for human attention.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was liberating, and I hope that this is also the truth. Well, Dimitri, that was Dimitris. Thank you so much
Thank you
for your
very much.
wisdom, for sharing all this, your own personal outlook on well-being. As you said, you promised that you're coming one more time to discuss the systemic outlook on well-being. So that was Dimitris Primalis offering such a grounded and inspiring look into the ways leadership can uplift, sustain, and protect teacher well-being. As we keep reimagining education, exactly, and as we keep reimagining education for justice and joy, it's clear that supporting teachers isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. And we hope that today's conversation sparked some ideas and reflections for you, whether you're a teacher, a leader, an advocate. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with a colleague. Leave us a review. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and check out our resources at www.metamothesis.com. Well, until next time, stay well, stay curious, and keep embracing well-being in education.